Thank you so much. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Pressley, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we just heard from my previous, really all of our colleagues, the climate crisis is not a theoretical problem for the future. It's an imminent problem and crisis right now. From the coastal flooding to the urban heat islands threatening communities like Chelsea and East Boston in my district, the Massachusetts 7th, it is real and it is here. In order to confront it, we need real solutions that are proven to work and to keep our planet safe. Fossil fuel companies like to point to carbon capture and sequestration, also known as CCS technology, as a way to offset their greenhouse gas emissions, while allowing them to continue producing their toxic product at the same level. But there is little evidence that the technology actually works. Former CEO of Exxon, Lee Raymond, spoke at the 2007 National Petroleum Council Conference about the future of carbon capture. He said, CCS technology, quote, has never been demonstrated at scale. It is a huge, huge undertaking. People just assume that it can happen. You can't assume that's going to happen, unquote. Yes, yet big oil continues to endorse carbon capture. Dr. Mann, have there been advancements in CCS technology that make you believe it will perform as advertised by fossil fuel companies?
No, I don't see any evidence at this point. There hasn't been a proof of concept that shows that you can use CCS and produce energy without producing carbon pollution. And as long as there's no proof of concept for that, then obviously it's not a meaningful climate solution, and it displaces meaningful climate solutions like clean energy, renewable energy.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree. Carbon capture is not proven and its risks are catastrophically dangerous. In 2020, a CO2 pipeline ruptured and burst in Yazoo County, Mississippi, a low income and majority Black population. And because of the rupture of high pressure gases, a noxious green fog seeped out, spread through the area, leaving residents convulsing, foaming at the mouth, and even unconscious. As we approach the 2-year anniversary of the Yazoo County pipeline explosion, we must recognize this carbon capture explosion is just another example of the toxic legacy of environmental racism that has plagued our nation for far too long. Ms. Lewis, what can the federal government do to limit existing and future harms to frontline and vulnerable communities, which are disproportionately Black and brown folks from these toxic pipelines?
Thank you so much for that incredibly important question. It's heartbreaking to even hear those effects of that pipeline burst. So clearly, the industries will not build if they are not siphoning American taxpayer dollars to subsidize their so-called carbon capture. So let's just end it. Let's be done with it. Let's end 45Q that gives tax breaks to companies that say they're going to build, yet haven't, and they've already cashed the checks. Let's continue to push, let's continue to highlight the harmful effects on our most vulnerable communities. And I think we can start to make some real impacts there.
Right, so-called CCS, more sort of propaganda here. So big oil touts CCS and other improving technology because they want to keep producing fossil fuels rather than doing what's really necessary, reducing extraction and production of oil and gas. Let's recognize carbon capture for what it is. As you just so eloquently pointed out, Ms. Lewis, it is a delay tactic and a distraction. And I yield back.